Hello, and welcome to the Department of Engagement, Leadership, and Services re-registration module. In this module, we will go over requirements that need to be done before your organization registers, and then we will go through the registration form together. There are 4 things that you will need to make sure are complete before you begin your registration forms on the Involvement Network. The first is to complete our 4 training modules and quizzes. These quizzes cover funding and fund management, reservations and events, solicitation and fundraising, and trademarks and promotion. You will need to get 100% on each of these to be approved for registration. You will also need to make sure to be in good financial standing. If your organization has an agency account open with the Student Affairs Business Office, please make sure that that is completed. If you're unsure if it is complete or not, you can contact Becca Sattler in the business office. If your organization has any trademarks in their name or logo, you will need to secure your annual approval through the Trademarks Office. You will need to fill out the Trademarks Approval form and email trademarks@uga.edu. Once the form is signed and returned, you will upload the signed form to your registration submission. Lastly, before you begin your re-registration submission, you will need to make sure your Constitution is up to date. The Constitution must include the non-discrimination anti-harassment statement, the requirement of an officer to pay the student activity fee, that non-students are unable to join or to vote on UGA student organizational business, and the procedures for officer election, removal, amendments, and the definition of quorum. Once you've completed those steps, you're ready to go to the Involvement Network, which is just involve.uga.edu. You will then from there go to your organization and press Manage Home. Once you reach this page, you'll press the blue re-registration button. On step 1, it's just going to ask that you've made sure that this is for the 2023 academic calendar year, that you've completed the training videos, that you're making sure that all of your information is up to date and that your trademarks form is approved, and that you have all of your organization members and ready for your registration forms. Step 2 is where we'll start asking about policy and procedure. You just want to make sure that you understand the student organization mission of UGA, basic requirements of the student orgs for roster requirements, and then that your organization name does not start with the or UGA. We're also going to ask about membership and the non-discrimination and anti-harassment policy, collected information policy, and then our registration process and factors for registration denial. And that if you do not meet these requirements, that you lose the privileges that registered student organizations get. And then we're going to start asking if you've read these different policies and procedures. So if you've read the student handbook and the code of conduct, the non-discrimination anti-harassment policy, the hazing policy, the policy for programs and activities serving minors, the student organization manual, and that no UGA employee can have access to your student organization's private banking accounts. We're also going to verify that you've read our re-registration procedures and that you've completed our required training. So then we're going to start asking about an annual survey in step 3. And this is going to be things about your student involvement at UGA, just asking if you've served as an officer before, how many events does your organization usually hold, if there is any type of training or resources that you all do, different goals. Please answer this just to the best of your ability, and do not stress on it. Step 4 is where we're going to start asking different information about your organization. So you'll put your official organization name, and this is the name that's going to be on the Involvement Network. If you have any acronyms or nicknames, you can welcome put that there, but it is not required. You're also going to put an organization description summary, and this is just a short form summary of the organization that's going to be displayed on the Involvement Network. And you'll need to put the organization description, which is a more detailed description on the Student Organization's Involvement Network page. Next, you'll put an organization website URL, and this is just how people will find you. So they'll go to UGA Campus Labs, and then if they put that / they'll be able to find your organization. Scrolling down, you'll see a social media section. You're welcome to put your social media for your organization, but that is not required. So on this, we're going to ask some different organization contact info that's going to be public on the involvement network. So you'll need to put an email. You're welcome to put your personal email, but it is preference that you put a different one because this is going to be your organization email address. We also ask for a street address, a public street address that is. And so if you do not have one, you're welcome to put the ELS's address, which is just 102 Tate Student Center, Athens, Georgia. Scrolling down, we're going to ask some different information about their primary contact. So you'll put your first and last name, a phone number, and then your UGA email. This is going to be for internal use, so this will not be on the involvement network page. But then when you scroll down, we'll see some information about the organization. So what day of the week do you typically meet? What time of day does your organization meet? If they vary, put that there. And then how many organization members you have and what leadership positions do you have? You can also put some signature events. And then also, if you have any financial obligations, put yes or no. If yes, please make sure to specify what they are. This will be public and for people to be able to see when they go to your page. Here we're going to ask for a profile picture. This is just going to be a logo for your involvement network page. Please make sure that it is appropriate. If it has any trademarks, you'll obviously have to get that approved. But if not, you're welcome to just put whatever works for your organization. Step 6 is going to ask about the trademark approval process. So if you have any trademarks in your name or your logo, such as UGA, University of Georgia, you'll need to get this approval form done and then signed. And once that is signed from the trademarks office, you will go back and just upload that right here. But if you do not have any trademarks in your name or logo, you can disregard this step. Step 7 is just organization categories. You are welcome to put anything that you feel pertains to your organization. So if anyone comes on the involvement network and presses academic college communities, they'll be able to find your org. This is not required, but it is suggested just for the visibility of your organization's involvement network page. Step 8 is going to ask about rosters. You're going to need at least 6 UGA students on your roster, including one being the primary contact, which is just usually like the vice president or second in command. So once you have those 6 members, you're going to make sure that the roster is up to date, and then you're going to add someone as your secondary contact, like I said, and then make sure that they are those UGA emails. So once you have that, you'll press next. And then I think we're going to ask some questions about the advisor. So if you have an advisor, obviously if you don't, you'll press no, but if you do, press yes. And then we're going to ask some questions about them. This is going to include things like their name. If you're being sponsored, you'll put that as well. So for instance, this is going to be sponsored by the Office of Engagement, Leadership, and Service. And so then we're going to start asking questions about them. Are they a staff member? Their first and last name, what their advisor email is, their on-campus phone number, and then their on-campus work address. If you have 2 advisors, you'll also put that second advisor's information as well, but if not, you're welcome to leave that. And if you have more than 2 advisors, just put 2 of the advisor's information, and then you can leave out that third one. And then lastly, we're going to get to the Constitution. So every organization is required to have a Constitution, and you're going to make this your own and according to your organization, but there are some things that we require. For instance, we're going to require that non-discrimination and anti-harassment policy, which is right here. And then we're also going to need procedures for elections, officer removal, and amendments. You're going to make sure that you put that only currently enrolled students can vote on that organizational business, such as elections or removal or amendments or even quorum. And then also you're going to need that officers have to pay their student activity fees. It is not required for them to be full-time. They just have to pay that fee. If you have all those required pieces of information, you're welcome, like I said, to put whatever works for your organization. And then once that's complete, you're going to come here and upload that Constitution. Press next. And then you'll see all of the things that you just went through. You're welcome to go back to a section and make sure that it's all right for you. But once you feel good about that, you're going to press submit and then wait 7 to 10 business days for the ELS to review your organization. If you have changes, we'll send that link, a checklist link to you that shows the changes that you need. And if you don't, you'll just get approved for the involvement network. So once you press submit, you are good to go until you get another notification from us regarding what your registration looks like. So thank you. If you have any questions, please contact UGA ELS at uga.edu. And have a great day.